There's no protection, Mary, especially for you. You're on one piece. You would get a third. In technicality, you get a third of one of those pieces.
It was supposed to be the crown jewel of the Brown family legacy. Coyote Pass, a sprawling stretch of land nestled in the Flagstaff Hills, where each wife would one day have her dream home.
And that's not fair, right? Because we paid for the land out of the family account.
Kody painted the vision like a preacher at a revival. 4 homes, 1 big family, and unity across the acres. But what started as a symbol of hope has turned into the ultimate battleground. Because beneath those empty plots and rustling trees lies a storm of betrayal, confusion, and millions of dollars in potential value.
They all paid for it equally.
And the sister wives have had enough. For years, the land sat untouched. Plans stalled, permits never filed, meetings were delayed or turned into vague speeches from Kody about working on it. But behind the scenes, tensions were boiling. Janelle, who always believed in the dream, kept pushing for progress. She'd even bought an RV and parked it on the land temporarily, determined to make it real.
We didn't pay for Coyote Pass all equally. I paid for an entire lot all by myself.
Meri, ever patient but increasingly sidelined, poured in money believing she'd one day see a return, or at least a front door. Yet every time the women asked for a breakdown, who owns what, who paid what, what's the next step, Kody danced around the numbers like they were fairy dust. Then the bombshell dropped. A neighboring plot, just minutes from Coyote Pass, went on the market for a jaw-dropping price, well over what anyone expected. Suddenly, this land wasn't just a family dream, it was a gold mine.
It is easy to go to, oh, did you have this plan ahead of time when we decided to do a legal divorce back in 2014?
And the question wasn't just when will we build, it became who's cashing out. That changed everything. What was once a slow-burning frustration exploded into full-blown urgency. Janelle and Meri realized that their investments, years of contributions, TLC checks, deposits, and dreams could either pay off big or disappear in a haze of legalese and broken promises. And let's be clear, Kody was not acting like a man in a hurry to share. Multiple sources claim Kody and Robyn wanted to delay any decisions until the market peaked.
I'm going to suggest to you that you protect your interests in it as far as what you're entitled to, a quarter of it.
That might sound smart on paper, but Meri and Janelle weren't buying it. To them, it felt like a stalling tactic, a way to manipulate the clock while subtly redrawing the map. Rumors began swirling that Robyn was pushing for a redivision of the property, one that would leave her and Kody with the choicest slice. Better road access, better views, and of course, better resale value. Meri wasn't having it. He started demanding formal acknowledgement of her contributions. Janelle, practical as ever, wanted the property either built on or sold. No more fantasies, no more fog. Fans who had followed their journey from the beginning began to sense it too.
We bought these 4 lots when we moved here to Flagstaff at Coyote Pass with the intention of dividing them up into 5 pieces of property and eventually building on them.
The dream of Coyote Pass had quietly transformed into the fight of their lives. Adding fuel to the fire, whispers leaked that Kody and Robyn had allegedly used family funds to pay off parts of their personal mortgage. Money that should have gone to taxes, land surveys, or infrastructure prep on Coyote Pass. Whether that's true or not, the suspicion was enough to break what little trust remained. This wasn't just about land anymore. It was about loyalty and betrayal. And now, with the surrounding land skyrocketing in value, everyone wants a piece of the pie. But who actually owns what? And who has the paperwork to prove it?
We're now at the point in the next couple of months that we need to pay it off.
That's the question no one seems willing to answer. The lines are blurred, the receipts scattered, and the only thing clear is that Meri, Janelle, and Christine are done waiting. The land that was meant to unite them has become the powder keg of their revolt. And that's just the beginning. Just when the dust seemed like it might settle over Coyote Pass, a new storm rolled in. And this one was far more personal. If land drama raised eyebrows, money lit them on fire. Because behind the property disputes and shifting promises, whispers of something darker began swirling. Where did all the money go? And more importantly, who was secretly spending it? At the heart of it all were allegations that Kody and Robyn hadn't just mismanaged funds, they had quietly redirected them. According to multiple family insiders and internet sleuths alike, money meant for family expenses may have taken a detour straight into Robyn's shopping cart. Luxury decor, expensive handbags, and vacations that mysteriously didn't include the other wives or their children.
I don't think that there's really any need for protection. Don't you think that we have each other's backs as far as that goes?
No, I really don't.
Suddenly, these weren't just rumors. They were red flags waving at full mast. The situation escalated dramatically when one of Kody's own daughters allegedly spoke out, claiming that funds were being siphoned for Robyn's comfort while the rest of the family was left to stretch every dollar. The accusation that communal TLC paychecks, pooled for years in good faith, were quietly funneled into a lifestyle that only benefited one corner of the family, Kody and Robyn's corner, the golden couple's corner. This daughter's comments sent shockwaves through the sister wives fandom. It wasn't just a family dispute anymore, it was a full-blown scandal. Viewers, many of whom had watched the family evolve over a decade, suddenly began revisiting old episodes with a critical eye. How often had Kody spoken about equality, only to clearly favor one wife over the others? How often had Robyn wept on camera about wanting unity, only to retreat into her own multi-bedroom fortress while the others were left in limbo? Janelle, who had always been the budget-conscious wife, was reportedly furious. She'd taken pride in pinching pennies, working extra hard to help fund the land, even living in an RV to keep the dream alive. Now, she began to suspect that while she was living minimally, someone else was living large, on the same family money.
I don't know, like, do people really think that I know because
you're an ex?
I'm an ex and so I know? Like, I don't understand. Or are they just being poo-poo heads and trying to egg me on?
And Christine, she'd already walked away, citing emotional neglect and broken promises. But more and more, fans believed finances were the unspoken fracture that had pushed her over the edge. Robyn and Kody, of course, denied any wrongdoing. They claimed their expenses were necessary for the whole family, that they weren't living lavishly, that any disparities were purely circumstantial. But to the public, and reportedly to some of their own children, those explanations didn't add up. If money was tight, why did it only seem tight for 3 out of 4 wives? Then came the comparisons. Robyn's house, practically a palace. The other wives, renting, living off savings, moving into campers. One had a cozy bed and breakfast. The others had dreams they couldn't quite fund. And Kody? He wasn't showing up with building permits or spreadsheets. He was showing up with vague platitudes and shifting timelines. Meri and Janelle started asking harder questions Kody didn't seem ready to answer. Viewers watched as the sisterhood cracked apart, not just from emotional neglect, but from financial betrayal. Christine's exit was the first tremor. Janelle's tension brought the aftershock. And when Meri finally stopped defending them, that was the collapse. Fans began openly speculating that Kody and Robyn were no longer the favorite couple. They were the target couple, the ones who allegedly took more than their share and now had to answer for it.
I really feel like they want you to talk about it, thinking that you actually know.
But why would I know?
Receipts? There were whispers that Janelle and Meri had them. Canceled checks, bank statements, detailed notes about who paid what and when. If those documents ever saw the light of day, it wouldn't just end the debate. It might legally redefine everything. Because this wasn't just gossip anymore, it was a pattern. And if the money trail really led where people feared, the fight over Coyote Pass was just the tip of the iceberg. And speaking of breakdowns, the next to explode wasn't Christine or Janelle, it was the one nobody expected.
Somebody asked just another question about Robyn. It's like, why would I know these things? I don't know, and guess what? She wouldn't tell me if she was.
For years, Meri Brown played the part of the loyal first wife. She held the line while Kody spun his polygamist fantasy, even after her relationship with him dissolved into awkward silences and stiff camera hugs. She defended Robyn, supported the family dream, and stayed quiet while Christine and Janelle slowly stepped away. But every silent wife has a breaking point. And when Meri's came, it wasn't with a bang. It was with a live stream. It started like any other casual Friday night video. Meri chatting with fans, laughing with her best friend, keeping things light. But then someone asked a simple question about Robyn. Just a friendly inquiry. Have you seen Robyn lately? And that's when the mask slipped. Meri didn't just dodge the question, she cut it. Her reply? Icy. What would I know about my ex and his wife? That one line landed like a slap. And just like that, Meri Brown went viral. It wasn't just what she said, it was how she said it. The wife. As if Robyn were a stranger, or worse.
I don't know about her dolls. I don't know if she's pregnant. I don't know if
Did someone ask if she was pregnant?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't, I'm like, whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know. This is the person in my life.
An afterthought. For fans who'd watched Meri sing Robyn's praises, who remembered her calling Robyn her soul sister, this was a mic drop. And it was only the beginning. Throughout the live stream, Meri casually dismissed any and all connections to Kody and Robyn. No texts, no updates. They're not part of my life anymore, she said. And the chat exploded. People who had begged for Meri to finally wake up and cut ties were stunned. Not because she did it, but because she did it with no tears, no apology, no hesitation. It was like years of being overlooked, dismissed, and taken for granted had finally crystallized into one beautiful, savage shrug. And fans had questions. What triggered this shift? What made Meri go from silent supporter to stone cold done? Well, behind the scenes, a lot had changed. Rumors were flying that Meri hadn't heard from Robyn or Kody in months. Not a text, not a call, not even a secondhand update. And worse, fans uncovered that Meri had once given up her legal status as Kody's wife so he could marry Robyn and adopt her children. That sacrifice, once praised as noble, now looked like the ultimate betrayal, especially since, according to insiders, Robyn and Kody barely acknowledged Meri after that.
It's just something I've been thinking about for a long, long time. I was shocked.
The love and the sacrifice that she is offering up.
Then there was the money. Allegedly, Meri had helped with the down payment for Robyn's massive Flagstaff home. And in return, silence, isolation, years of trying to stick it out in a spiritual marriage that barely existed. Add to that the Coyote Pass chaos, where Meri had poured in money with no deed, no timeline, no home, and the picture becomes painfully clear. She was used. What pushed her over the edge may have been the property drama finally reaching resolution. According to reports, once Robyn signed over Meri's share and the legal entanglements cleared, Meri realized she was truly free.
You guys can get married and then try to adopt the kids.
God, I got it.
Are you sure?
No more waiting for permission, no more pretending, and with her financial ties severed, she no longer owed them anything. Not loyalty, not appearances, not even basic courtesy. That's when the gloves came off. The meltdown had been slow brewing for years, but the live stream was the eruption. I wouldn't know, she said about Robyn's life. She wouldn't tell me anyway. That wasn't just shade, that was a funeral for their friendship, and fans loved it. Twitter lit up with reactions like, "This is the Meri we've been waiting for." And she finally sees the truth. For the first time, viewers weren't just sad for Meri, they were rooting for her. The long-suffering first wife had finally flipped the narrative. She wasn't Kody's shadow anymore. She was her own storm, and the storm was just getting started. For years, the sister wives world ran on a kind of fragile illusion that no matter the tension, the family would always find a way to keep it together. That illusion cracked when Christine left. It crumbled when Meri went cold. And when Janelle and Meri finally got serious about the money, that's when the fantasy shattered completely. Because this time, it wasn't just an emotional breakup, it was a legal showdown.
I'm gonna change what our relationship, ours, has been for years. Nothing's gonna change.
Do you promise?
My intention...
I was hanging on with you.
The breaking point? Paperwork. Cold, hard, unavoidable paperwork. After years of vague promises and sentimental speeches from Kody, Meri and Janelle had seen enough. They weren't asking for reassurance anymore, they were asking for receipts. Who paid what? Where did the family funds go? Why hadn't their names appeared on deeds or contracts despite years of contribution? According to sources close to the family, the women didn't just talk about it, they got lawyers involved. Janelle, long viewed as the calm, practical one, was the first to make a move. She began collecting documentation, canceled checks, tax records, statements from TLC earnings. She wanted a full accounting of every dime she'd poured into Coyote Pass. And she wasn't the only one. Meri followed suit, allegedly producing her own files to show just how much she'd invested over the years. When they compared notes, the picture was devastating. Coyote Pass had been marketed as a shared dream, but the paper trail painted a different story, one of unequal investments, fuzzy ownership, and intentional confusion. The women realized that without legal action, they could walk away with nothing. And that's when they delivered the ultimatum: negotiate, or we go to court. The threat wasn't loud, and it wasn't televised, but it hit like a thunderclap behind the scenes. Suddenly, Kody and Robyn were no longer in control of the narrative. No more dodging questions or delaying decisions. With attorneys involved, every vague answer could now be a liability. Every missing signature could turn into evidence. Kody reportedly didn't take it well. Always more comfortable giving speeches than fielding tough questions, he tried to reframe the situation. "We're still a family," he insisted. "We can work this out." But Meri and Janelle weren't interested in family talks. They were interested in contracts.
And I think now you need to let go.
It's not fair to either of us.
I know.
It's
I know
not fair
logically.
for me to be alone like I have been for years. And it's
know.
not fair for
I
him.
know.
Terms, fairness, legally binding protections for the money they'd poured into a fantasy that was now falling apart. And Robyn? Well, her suggestion didn't help. She allegedly proposed they wait a little longer before doing anything official until the market peaked. She framed it as a smart financial move, but Meri and Janelle saw it for what it was, a stall tactic. One last attempt to delay while Kody and Robyn figured out how to come out on top. Janelle wasn't buying it. She wanted her land or her payout, now. And Meri, after years of being emotionally frozen out, was no longer interested in playing the peacekeeper. The message was clear: either finalize the split fairly or risk a very public, very messy legal brawl. The irony? The women didn't even want to fight. They just wanted clarity. But when that clarity was denied for long enough, the only remaining option was escalation. And now, the once unified Brown family was hurtling toward a scenario Kody swore would never happen. A courtroom battle over who owns what and who's been lying all along. The ultimatum worked. Within months, official records began showing new ownership structures. Meri and Janelle, once omitted, were suddenly co-owners on key plots of Coyote Pass. Some fans speculate that Kody caved behind the scenes to avoid public exposure. Others believe the threat of court forced him to admit what the women already knew. He didn't hold all the power anymore. And while Kody and Robyn remained tight-lipped, the silence spoke volumes. The family wasn't healing, it was legally dividing. And the women, they weren't just ex-wives now. They were business partners with a legal stake, and they'd just taken back what was theirs, long before Meri's sarcasm scorched the internet. Before Janelle stood her ground on legal documents, before Kody was backed into a corner, Christine saw it coming. And not only that, she tried to warn them. To most viewers, Christine's departure from the Brown family marked the beginning of the end.
I'm not in their lives. We don't interact. So if you guys ask me questions, why would I know?
But to those who were really paying attention, her exit wasn't just emotional, it was prophetic. Because she didn't just leave a broken relationship, she exposed the rot beneath the entire family structure. When Christine walked, she wasn't just saying, "I'm done with Kody." She was saying, "I'm done being second, third, or last in line." For years, she had tried to convince herself that this lifestyle, the shared husband, the uneven affection, the shifting priorities, was what she signed up for. But deep down, Christine knew something was off. And according to sources close to her, she had been watching Robyn's rise with growing unease from the beginning. In public, she kept a brave face. But in confessionals and quiet interviews, Christine dropped hints. Robyn was the favorite. Kody changed after her arrival. The equality he once promised? Gone. The time, the attention, the emotional bandwidth, it all flowed in one direction. And Christine, once the cheerful and affectionate wife, slowly withered under the weight of neglect. Her turning point came when the promises stopped being just delayed. They were completely abandoned. Coyote Pass was supposed to be the fresh start. But Christine saw early that nothing was getting built. No blueprints were being shared, and no one was being treated fairly. While she raised her kids, juggled household responsibilities, and waited for her slice of the dream, Kody was building castles in the sky, and allegedly real ones with Robyn. Then came the rumors of secret spending, quiet manipulations, and Kody twisting the truth about who had contributed what. Christine, who once hoped to build a home on that land, started to realize the game was rigged, and instead of staying silent, she walked. She left the land, the marriage, and the illusion that the Brown family was ever truly equal.
And I'm trying to show her that there's still some hope. And Kody is not helping me with that.
Her exit was seismic, and it did more than shake up Kody and Robyn's PR image. It gave the other wives permission to see things clearly. Janelle, always loyal but practical, began to question the math. Meri, emotionally removed but financially tied, started to feel the sting of years spent investing in nothing more than dreams. And Christine, she didn't hold back. Since leaving, she's hinted loudly that Kody was never as pure mature or principled as he pretended to be. She's questioned the timing of his romance with Robyn, the sincerity of his spiritual convictions, and the fairness of how he divided his time, affection, and resources. Fans believe she's sitting on far more than she's revealed, and that she may be waiting for the perfect moment, maybe even a tell-all, to drop the full truth. In many ways, Christine lit the fuse. Her courage to walk away broke the spell for the rest of them, because once one wife left and thrived, it made staying look a whole lot less noble, and a whole lot more like self-inflicted suffering. And so, while she might not have hired the lawyers or called the emergency meetings, Christine was the first act in the revolt. The one who said enough before anyone else found the nerve. And as Meri and Janelle now claim legal victories and emotional freedom, one thing is clear, Christine didn't just leave, she led. When Sister Wives first hit TV screens, it was pitched as a rare window into a lifestyle most viewers could barely comprehend. A sprawling family united by faith, commitment, and a shared husband. It was messy, fascinating, and at times surprisingly heartwarming. But fast forward to today, and that carefully curated image lies in ruins. What's left? A fractured family, legal threats, and a burning question. Is the show itself on the verge of collapse?
And it's like Meri's here and she's still trying to hang on. And I just feel like there's just so little left.
The signs aren't subtle. Christine's gone. Janelle's out. Meri has all but declared war. And Kody, he's hunkered down in Robyn's house, spinning nostalgic monologues about family unity, while the actual family crumbles around him. The dream of one big, happy polygamist household has turned into a cautionary tale, and fans are watching the unraveling like it's the series finale. Producers are likely scrambling. How do you keep a show alive when its core cast wants nothing to do with each other? There's only so much you can do with Robyn's tearful confessionals and Kody pacing in his oversized living room. The heart of Sister Wives was always in the dynamics between the women, the tension, the alliances, the heartbreaks, and occasional healing. But now, those women are living separate lives, telling their own stories, and in some cases, refusing to even say each other's names. Even if the cameras keep rolling, the energy has shifted. Fans have gone from curious observers to full-blown critics. Reddit threads, YouTube recaps, and podcast deep dives now dissect every frame, every passive-aggressive jab, every suspicious spending decision. Viewers no longer watch to see how the family thrives. They watch to see how it ends. And behind that spectacle is a deeper reality. The Brown family is no longer a united front. They're divided into camps, battling over property, money, and legacy. The emotional center of the show, once rooted in sacrifice and plural love, has been replaced with receipts, legal strategies, and private meltdowns that keep spilling into the public eye. What's left for the show to explore? A half-empty house? A once-shared dream reduced to real estate and resentment? Some fans believe a spin-off is inevitable. Christine living her best single life, Janelle launching her own ventures, Meri hosting live streams with passive-aggressive commentary. These women are no longer co-stars in a polygamist experiment. They're survivors of it. And that arc, that's what viewers care about now.
I'm divorced, and I don't know or care what happens with my ex and his wife.
As for Kody and Robyn, their side of the story is beginning to look, well, lonely. The narrative that once framed them as the new beginning now casts them as the last two standing on a crumbling stage. And the audience, they're already rooting for the exit music. Because what started as a show about building a family has become a show about watching it fall apart. One wife, one betrayal, and one legal document at a time. Now that the dust has settled, or at least started to, only one question remains. What happens next for the Brown family? Are we witnessing a final unraveling, a rebirth, or something in between, where the pieces of a shattered dream get picked up, repackaged, and sold as a brand new story? Because make no mistake, this isn't just the end of a season. This feels like the end of an era. Christine's already rewritten her chapter. She's smiling, thriving, dropping subtle shade on social media, and finally living a life that doesn't revolve around waiting for a man who barely noticed her. Janelle is hustling, building, and moving with the kind of purpose that suggests she's never looking back. And Meri, after that now iconic "my ex and his wife" line, she's made one thing clear. She's done pretending, done protecting reputations, and done being polite. Each woman has found her voice, and she's using it.
It sounds like the paparazzi probably has more information about some of the things happening than we do.
Meanwhile, Kody and Robyn are stuck in a storyline that no longer fits. Once framed as the golden couple, they now look isolated, defensive, and increasingly irrelevant. Their version of the truth no longer holds weight. Not when receipts, records, and rival narratives are flooding the fanbase faster than they can respond. And what of the show itself? Some fans are begging for a reboot. The ex-wives of sister wives, complete with solo confessionals, fresh drama, and no more backyard family meetings about invisible building plans. Others say it's time to let the whole thing go, that dragging it out only cheapens what made it compelling in the first place. Unity, sacrifice, love, all turn to ash in the name of money, control, and ego. Yet maybe that's the most telling part of this saga. In the end, Sister Wives was never just about plural marriage. It was about power, who has it, who loses it, and what people are willing to give up to keep it.
But I need you guys to understand.
And now, as Meri, Janelle, and Christine walk away with their heads high and their names on the deeds, we finally see what the power shift looks like. They're not leaving empty-handed, they're leaving on their terms. Whether this is the final chapter or the beginning of a new spin-off saga, one thing is clear: the Brown family dream is over. What remains is the fallout, the freedom, and the fans. Still watching, still judging, still asking, was this the justice we were waiting for? Or just the first taste of a bigger reckoning still to come? What do you think? Did the wives finally get the redemption they deserved? Or should they have pushed even harder? Drop your thoughts, your theories, and your hottest takes in the comments. And if you've been with us through this entire deep dive, thank you. You're officially part of the Sister Wives Truth Squad. Smash that like button if you felt even one moment of finally while watching this unfold. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next bombshell we uncover. Trust us, in this family, the secrets never stay buried for long. Now go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. We've got even more receipts, rumors, and reality-shattering revelations coming your way.